Hi everyone, it's Don and I hope you're having a fantastic day. Well, a lot of people say, Don, sometimes you're like a day or sometimes even 2 days behind a breaking news story. Why don't you jump on it right away? And well, one of the reasons is exactly stories like this one. So I think you all agree right now with everything that's going on in the world, one of the most important things out there is how much we need to support our doctors and nurses and ambulance attendants and healthcare workers, all the people who are out there in the front lines treating people, working those long hours, and they deserve all the respect and admiration they get. Period. Next, we have a story. So when a story like this breaks out, obviously it's going to be attention grabbing and headline grabbing. So especially when we're talking cruise industry, which was the focal point of everything that's going on right now, as the epicenter supposedly for the spread around the world. So when it came out that the nurses have a conference every year on a cruise ship, and this year it was being held on a Royal Caribbean ship in 2020, one of their huge large ships, and it was called NurseCon, right? Everybody, people go to these Comic-Con, NurseCon, BlizzCon, all kinds of things that happen that people go to these conferences. And at first it was delayed, and then the cruise ended up being canceled. So people were saying, okay, well, you have that choice, right? You have your 125% future cruise credit, or you can get your refund and your money back and things like that. And then a letter from NurseCon was sent out to the nurses stating that they will get 125% future cruise credit, and they will be able to use it to book the next future NurseCons all the way up to 2023. So 3 years out. And no mention of a refund at that point. And everybody immediately started to say, hey, wait a minute, what's going on? Why can't they get their money back? The nurses said, hey, some of us are struggling as well. Not all of us are working all kinds of hours. Some places have actually been shut down and some nurses aren't working right now. And so we would like our refund back and things like that. And everyone started, you saw a few articles come out. TMZ had an article out there saying, that Royal Caribbean was refusing to give our frontline workers their money back and basically, screwing over our nurses. And of course, everybody hates that. Like I read this and I went, wait a minute, what's going on? Hang on. And I immediately reached out to some representatives I know at Royal Caribbean, and they responded, and sure enough, even TMZ responded the very next day with an update to that article stating that, wait a minute, Royal Caribbean said they did offer the NurseCon the choice, 100% of their money back, including taxes and port fees, or the future cruise for the other. Now, when the people at NurseCon were first asked about this, when this first shut down, before the second article came out, they said, we don't really have anything to say about passing blame around anybody. Like, we don't blame Royal Caribbean or anything like this. In fact, this is probably the best option for all of our nurses out there. And really, most of them are really, really happy with this decision. But when the nurses started being interviewed, they found, no, wait a minute, no, maybe we can't go next year or the year after. We don't want to wait 2 years to use our money. We could use our money right now, thank you very much. No, that's not acceptable. But Royal Caribbean states that they did offer, when people book these kind of things, they don't book it through Royal Caribbean. They book it through the event So it's the event holder that collects the money, organizes things, and books the cabins and pays for it through Royal Caribbean. And usually when you're doing these kind of events and you can say, you know what, we're going to have 500 to 1,000 cabins on a cruise ship, or we need a whole ship, you get things at a discounted rate, and so it saves everybody, and the Royal Caribbean doesn't have to bother trying to sell the ship. They know it's already pre-booked at a certain amount, and so the money was collected from the nurses by NurseCon, and Royal Caribbean says if you want your money back, you have to go through the event coordinator. So as you can see, the story kind of changes now from Royal Caribbean withholding the nurses' money to, wait a minute, NurseCon, what's happening with your money for them? Are you trying to not give them back their money? What's going on? So you can see why I like to wait for these stories. And as of right now, I have not heard a response from NurseCon, and we'll see if this continues. So right now you have a he said, she said sort of story. And it would be hard to believe, considering that Royal Caribbean has been refunding money all along, and you can choose to have a refund. It could take 60 to 90 days to get it, but the option is there right across their fleet. So it seems very strange that this particular cruise would not be refundable as well. So that's, again, one of those reasons I like to follow up on these stories before announcing. At least wait one day to see if any other information comes in, instead of just reporting out how bad people are. And in this case, the blame might be going to the wrong person. Well, let me know what you guys think. Do you think it's NurseCon? Do you think it's Royal Caribbean? Do you think it's somewhere in the middle, as most true stories happen? Let me know in the comments down below. And until next time, have yourself a safe and a great vacation.